What's up, everyone? Welcome to another patch note video on this channel. It's been a little bit of a while since I've made one of these, but I feel like the new update here definitely calls for one. Quite a few changes here with the new Claws and Jaws update, which is a free content update. So yeah, if you own Northgard, you can just jump right into the action and check out what the changes are for yourself. If you're more interested in the details, this is the perfect video for you, because we're gonna talk about all the different changes that have been made with this update and yeah, try to sort it in somewhat. So, I think at first we're just gonna read the little text right here. I'm not always gonna read the texts here. You generally have them on the screen, so if you're interested in them, you can just pause the video or yeah, just come down here on Steam Indie Patch Notes and read them out yourself. These are usually the thoughts of Shiro, like what they wanted to achieve with these changes and anything. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the general drill, because oftentimes I've already read the texts, so I'm just gonna give you the general drill and not always read over them, let's say. So hello Vikings! With the open beta now complete, the Claws and Jaws update is ready to be released and change the landscape of Northgard. Thanks again to all the players who participated in the beta, reported issues, shared their feedback, participated in the discussions and helped with the update. Generally also a call from me, like the open beta branch is now generally, if I understood correctly, always open, so I don't know if there are any changes on it right now, but they will now test new changes always on a new open beta branch where everybody can just jump in. There's a relatively easy trick. You basically just go onto your library on Northgard, go to the properties, and right here you have the betas tab, and you can change to the public beta branch. This is the one that you should generally be seeing. The closed beta will not really be used anymore, which I think is pretty cool. So everybody has the chance to try out the new changes and basically make the beta a little bit more crowded. That is upon you, let's say. We definitely, yeah, need more players there. Would be great if everybody would jump in there and yeah, try out the new changes. And I think generally a great change from Shiro that they changed it to an open beta branch. So keep that in mind. All the new beta stuff will now always be available for all the players if you're interested in it. So let's jump into the Claws and Jaws update. First, see what's new. This update focuses on bringing novelty and exciting choices to the Northgard environment. It focuses on mainly on two aspects: the addition of new animals and the rework of map generation rules, and that is going to be quite interesting. First off, for the wildlife, we have the foxes and fox burrows. Fox burrows are basically the same thing as the wolf cave, basically. So you have a burrow where there are foxes on. If you clear all the foxes, you can then colonize the fox burrow and therefore close it. Also, the eagle clan can close them, of course, and there are also other ways to make that happen. But yeah, generally just works like a wolf cave. If you close it, you're gonna get 25 fame and 75 crowns, so a little bit different. And the foxes in general are they should be a little bit weaker than wolves. I think this has been fixed already, because I played at the very patch day where the patch came out, and foxes seem to be extremely strong. Like something seemed to be wrong with their attack damage. Yesterday I played a little bit of a Conquest, and it seemed to be normal again. So yeah, generally on the scale, foxes should be a little bit weaker than wolves. They attack a little bit faster, and they are a lot quicker. So dancing them out or something will be a little bit harder than you will have, yeah, will know with wolves. But if you clear them out, you also get a little bit less food. And now, for example, as a wolf, you will get a little bit less food, you get a little bit less military experience. They're a little bit less worth than wolves generally, military experience wise, but therefore also a little bit easier to clear in theory. So if you just run into the tile and just YOLO, let's kill them, it should be easier to kill them than wolves, but especially for tile dancing and everything, their speed makes it a little bit harder. We'll see how it actually goes out with the days and weeks going on, and people finding new solutions to clearing out the wolves or the foxes. But yeah, we'll see how that actually works out. I think it is a little bit harder since they are quicker, so you will need a bigger gap to basically tile dance them or whatever you want to do with them. But their attack damage is a lot lower, so yeah, easy on one side, hard on the other side. We'll see how it plays out, right? Pretty cool addition to the game. The very important addition that came with it is that you're not gonna spawn with 2 free tiles anymore that you can colonize at the start of the game. You will only start with 1 free tile that you can colonize. I'm a little bit on the fence if that is actually gonna change it and make the game more, makes you think more in the early game somehow. Okay, there's a few tiles gone. I cannot go for the tiles because there are wolves on it. Will I now get my warriors early and try to clear them out myself in a team game? Probably not, so I will wait for the clear. So oftentimes I feel like your options are just going down a little bit, but that might just be a very subjective thought from my side here. Because I think when you only have 1 tile available for you, I personally think I will think a little bit less in the early game, in team games at the least, because I will still wait for my clear most of the times, and then therefore I basically just have 1 option, so there's no real reason to think about which tile I go for. What I do, I just go for that tile, and will probably need to adapt a little bit later into the game, because maybe that were one of my food tiles that I can now not use because I put a house and a woodcutter's lodge on it. Maybe stuff like that, but yeah, we will see how we play through. We always played Northgard for a long time now with having 2 free tiles at the start of the early game. It will really interesting be to see how the game now plays out with only 1 tile. Like a lot of clans will obviously have no problem with it, but there are also clans where this could be quite a significant change. So I'm pretty interested in how this will play out here. So at the start of the game, basically, you can have wolves and foxes around you right now. Still no draugrs, bears, and anything, so that remains kind of the same-ish, let's say. So you will have the weakest animals around your territory, so you can clear them out rather easily. But bears and draugrs, of course, not. And also the new unit that we have right here, which is the boar, which is kind of equivalent to the bear from the strength. So if you have an army that can kill a bear, an army, it's usually like a berserker and a warrior and probably your bodyguard on the side. If you're able to kill a bear, you're most likely also able to kill the boar. The boar is different from the bear by having a lot more HP. I think the bear only has 80, the boar has 120. Therefore, the resistance of the boar is a lot lower and the attack is a lot higher. So the boar definitely able to do a lot more damage than the bear is, but yeah, the lowered resistance makes it not too hard to kill it. Like, it's not super easy. It's still 120 HP, right? This is one of the most healthy units in Northgard. I think even a giant only has 100 HP. So yeah, they are generally still pretty strong. You need some army to get them down, but generally, if you feel like you're able to kill a bear, you're going to be able to kill a boar. You may take a little bit more damage though, because I think they have like 12 damage and the bear only has 8. Don't know if I get that 100% correct, but around the ballpark, if you know what I mean. So yeah, pretty interesting new unit here. They will give you 140 food, I think, when you kill them with a wolf. So also a little bit more military experience than the bear. Makes sense. They are a little bit harder to clear than bears, but don't worry, there won't be a boar den, at least if it's not the Halloween event and we have like the spider dens and stuff like that. I don't know if there's something going on with the boars, but it is completely unimportant, of course. Because it's only an event map, which is never going to be played on rank. Yeah, pretty interesting changes here. 2 new animals, which is always pretty cool because, yeah, just mixes up the game a little bit, right? We'll see which strategies the players will actually find to clear out the Foxen, because I think this is like the most important thing for the early game, how you will deal with them. Bears and boars, usually when you start clearing them, your clear clan army is already big enough to deal with these things, so I don't think the boar is more like a little bit of a mix-up in the early game, but the Foxen mix-up in the later early game, let's say, but I think the Foxen will really have a great impact on how the early game will be played, and especially the fact that you only start with one tile, but we'll see. So, environment and map generation, that might actually be something I'm reading through here, because that seems to be quite key. Sheeps are not a new animal, so you know, but we've changed their spawn rules and we worked them to make them more useful, especially in later games, and create new specific interactions with clans. The idea is to sacrifice, to make the sacrifice for food no longer the automatic and only used for sheep it is currently. So yeah, if you have a sheep right now, in 99% of the cases you're just gonna kill it, because mathematically it's just gonna be the better boost for you to have the food in the early game than having the very minuscule wood bonus that you could get throughout the game, right? We've also reworked some map generation rules, especially regarding the hostility of spawn zones, to make it more fair for all players. Which is the big change for the sheep right now, is sheep will now grant a 50% firewood reduction for the tile they have been assigned to. Before, it were only minus 30%, so a pretty significant buff here. So if you have a sheep in the early game, it can really help you to have it like for the first 2 winters. That will I don't know if pretty easily, but I think it will be more worth to now have the sheep for 2 winters than having it killed. So a very quick payoff, and yeah, now will lead into a lot of people not killing their sheep and at least keeping one at the very least. But in combination with the not so new, how was it, the supply lines debuff that you get, so the further you go away from a territory, the less damage your units will do, is generally incentivizing you since the last patch already to colonize very close to your opponents, basically. So when you want to colonize close to your opponents, you probably also want to kill a few sheep generally, right? Because that will help you with doing it. Right now, disincentivizing you a little bit with the wood consumption makes you a little bit of a, gets you into a little bit of a gamble, right? Let's kill the sheep, let's colonize close to our opponent, let's attack them, but then you don't get the wood bonus anymore. Your opponent maybe didn't colonize close to you, still have all their sheep, and they take their sheep and just take the wood bonus from it and get a long game bonus out of it. That now makes a lot more of a difference, gonna be quite interesting. You also see a lot more sheeps on the map. Like the sheeps are, let's just say you see a sheep or two on every third tile on a map. Let's just say it like that. I think this is not even light, and when there should even be a few more sheeps. I forgot about neutral tiles and everything. We don't count these. But there are a lot more sheeps right now on the map, and you will end up with sheeps in your possession a lot oftener than you would have before. So also, they did a lot of changes here, a lot of changes for the other clans. Like every clan now has a little bit of a different bonus for their sheeps, and we're gonna go through them right now because some of them are pretty interesting. The wolf clan is very straightforward. When sacrificing a sheep for food, you will now get 100 food instead of 80, so just a straight up buff for the wolf clan here. So you can probably colonize more tiles because Wolf's job oftentimes is now also to just colonize very close to your opponent if you have a map that actually gives you the chance to do that. The Dragon Clan can send a sheep to the sacrificial pyre to gain 4 dragon essences, which is a good amount. I don't know if it's worth throwing a sheep in there though. I still think 80 food is probably more worth than 4 dragon essences, and especially the bonus later on, like the 50% wood consumption. Is a possibility, don't know how worthy it actually is. The clan can sacrifice a sheep to trigger a boneyard in the zone, calling a maximum of 3 hawks. So you can heal yourself in the zone, you can call in the blind, You can only do it on your own zones, though. I just thought taking a sheep with your army and just popping it in the moment you start fighting to get the blind out. But you could think about it when you're defending yourself, right? You have your army, you went for the lore that I did, which name I forgot, which gives you a 3-second blind for enemy units when they fight on the boneyard of you. So that's the reason why people oftentimes won't attack you on a boneyard, because you can lose out on a lot of DPS at the start of the fight, where you want the DPS the most, arguably. So you could now trigger it with a sheep, which is an interesting change of event. So when you get pushed as an eagle, keep that in mind when you have a sheep. And the lore, of course. You will also need the lore. So, the Red Clan. The Red Clan can sacrifice a sheep to light up the purification pyre for 60 days. Alrighty, that seems pretty good. The Lynx Clan. The clan can sacrifice a sheep to get 60 trophies, but no food. Well, 60 trophies is, can help you out of a bottleneck sometimes in the early games, especially if you misclicked something. Sometimes it can be tough if you didn't went for, is that Monster Hunter or something? No, it's not Monster Hunter. Where you get first basically for killing Draugrs and Valkyries and every unit that won't give you first before you take the lore. Sometimes I manage to get myself into a little bit of a bottleneck where I can't really kill wolves or sheep, wolves or bears anymore, and now obviously foxen and boars. Will be interesting. You can manage to get yourself out. Generally, it shouldn't be the rule, though, so I think also Lynx Clan will most of the time actually end up just keeping the sheep for the firewood bonus, honestly, or just taking the food, whatever. So, Owl Clan. The sheeps reduce the food consumption in the zone by 35%. Before it were 25, so even stronger for the Owl Clan here, even though it's not that much of a buff. They already, before, like, the Owl Clan can sacrifice a sheep. It's just not possible. You can just reduce the food consumption on a tile with them, which with 35% is already pretty insane, honestly. This bonus also increases for each additional sheep in the zone, also multiplicative. I can get it down to 0. This seems broken. If that's actually how it works, how I understand it, this is just straight up broken. What? You can just, like, with All Clan, I oftentimes just play the build where everything just were in my main tile. So, yeah, this would be quite broken in combination with that, but yeah, let's see how that actually plays out in game. I'm also not like the best owl player around. A lot of players don't really do that anymore, that they build everything on their main tile, but especially with the sheep bonus here, it seems extremely strong, let's say. Goat Clan. Following those changes on sheep, the Shepherd ability of Halvard, Goat War Chief, has been modified. The ability is now active and captures all wild sheep in a natural zone where Harvard is. The ability then has a 1-month cooldown. The ability of the War Chief is that you can take sheeps with you out of neutral tiles that you have cleared. So let's say there's 4 wolves and 2 sheeps on the tile. You kill all the sheeps, you get Halberd in there, you use his ability, and then you take the sheeps with you. Before, you could have only taken 1 sheep. Now you can take all the sheeps in the zone. Interesting. I think it's now gonna get a lot more, like this ability is gonna be used a lot more, just because there are a lot more sheeps on the map. Before, it were not a rare case. You saw sheeps around the map, but honestly, you will see it when you play the game. In comparison, like, the amount of sheeps that are now spread around the map is a lot higher, and I think that might actually have something to do with the supply lines debuff, just to give you the chance to colonize closer to your opponent and get this meta yeah, thing in there that if you don't kill the sheep, you actually get your firewood consumption, which is quite significant right now. So being in defending position seems to be stronger than ever, basically. So, the spawn hostility. Until now, it was possible for different clans to face huge differences in the hostility at spawn. For example, one clan could start with 1 wolf in zones around its town hall, while others starts with 3 wolves. This is not possible, but all right. It could never happen that around your town hall you had 3 wolves, right? Am I correct? On high difficulty, that never happened. You had 1 or 2 wolves usually. In the zone afterwards, there could be 3, but there could never be 1. So, I don't know. All clans on a map will now start with the same level of hostility in adjacent zones, adjusted depending on the number of zones adjacent to their town halls. It sounds fair, honestly. However, this hostility might still be composed of different animals and be split differently for each clan. Okay. So if you have, I don't know, that I think they try to get the numbers basically to balance it out. So if you have 2 wolves in a tile, you'll probably end up with, I don't know, 3 foxen. I don't know if 3 foxen are weaker than 2 wolves, honestly. I'm not deep enough in it. I know foxen are weaker, but generally getting it on the same level is pretty nice. What I think is pretty significant to say, though, is the only 1 tile free thing, because this is a thing that we had for 5 or 6 years in Northgard now, and now it changes. And yeah, I think it's very significant because it's going to change pretty much all of the build orders, when only just like a tiny little bit, but it's going to change every single build for every single clan that you ever knew. So yeah, quite interesting. The environment difficulty got changed, so easier maps are now easier, harder maps, so extreme maps are now more extreme. They are stupidly extreme. I saw it on another stream, like tiles with 11 foxen on them, and not just a few, like a lot of them. So yeah, extreme maps have been made basically unplayable. So yeah, I guess just what people that want to play extreme difficulty want, honestly. So that seems pretty nice. I can tell you, if you're looking for a challenge, you gotta get it right there. But normal and hard maps are generally the same as before, beside of the things that I said to you before. Just the amount of attacks that you're gonna achieve from joggers or wolves in the earlier game, of course, or other stuff that want to attack you is just the same as before, just like the general amount of stuff on the map changes. So the AI also got a few changes. They make it a little bit more aggressive. I have already played in Conquest against it, and it seemed relatively capable. It's got all their army together, and when all their army were there, they attacked with all their army. So it's not like, okay, 1 warrior is coming, 1 warrior attacks, 1 warrior is coming, 1 warrior attacks. No, it's not. They gather and then they attack with their whole army, which is what you would want to do. Makes it feel a lot more like you're playing against an actual player. The only problem I don't know if that's a problem, I played against a dragon clan, and he actually sent a few singular dragonkins into my tile. I don't know if that's something that they want to have, because they have the draconic frenzy. They pulled out the dragonkin just before it died. So there's that. It were a pretty weird thing, having like 7 to 8 army in one tile. The dragonkin comes in alone, lets itself get hit down to 10% and then run out again. You see there is some thought behind it, so the AI wanted to do something. Just generally, I feel like with dragonkins you might still have that, because they want to take advantage of the draconic frenzy, and maybe don't take into consideration that having 1 dragonkin into 10 army is maybe not that healthy. But yeah, we'll see. Generally, I can see that the AI has definitely improved. I don't want to go too deeply in it, because I think most people that watch these videos are probably more interested in multiplayer. But if you are somebody who likes to have a little bit of a brawl against the computer, then yeah, it's definitely got better right now. I played a few Conquests before the update, I played a few after, and it feels a lot better to play against the AI, and makes it at least a little bit more feel like you're playing against an actual player. So, with Conquest, we also have a few changes here. The new main Conquest battles of the Owl clan are now available. We have the Titan Maquis. All clans start with a Guardian of Realms. If 2 Guardians meet, they have to fight to the death. When the Guardian dies, its clan is eliminated. Make yours the best and defeat the others before they come too strong. That sounds extremely fun. I definitely want to play that. Age of Vampires. Your war chief and the Earl King are the 2 last remaining Nightwalkers. There can only be 1 left. kill it before he gets you. I have no clue what they mean with that, so let's just see what that actually is. And we have the battle for Midgard. Yggdrasil is under attack from many realms. Portals are awakening and armies are coming to destroy it. Resist the assaults and close the portals to end this. Ah, okay. A little bit like the last mission on the campaign, somewhere around that. I don't know, like the new campaign, I mean. I think the old campaign also had a little bit similar one, like you have gates that you gotta close and stuff like that. I feel like something like that. But we'll see. So, we also have diplomacy and balancing, quite an interesting diplomacy change because, for example, feasting will now improve your relationship to all your allies. And since you will end up getting a little bit of a lore bonus, for example, not even talking about the trading bonus you can get later on. For example, the Goat Clan can now get pretty good relationship to do with just going for the feast relic and feasting all the time. Pretty interesting change. I don't know if it's just as strong as it were in the beta. If it is, it will definitely be pretty significant in your games, also in multiplayer games. And maybe get the feast relic a little bit back. Also, the Skrill, meals prepared by the Skrill for their allies improve their relationship with the affected clans. Rumor mongering also increases all relations by 100%. This is very interesting. For the Stoat clan, also collecting a levy will also improve the relationship with everybody you share the levy with. The Red Clan, when healing ally units, the Red Clan also improves his relation with the clan. And the Bear Clan, if you are like basically providing your 200 bonus, which is the 50% production bonus for the Bear Clan, if you do that for a teammate, guess what? You're gonna improve the relations with said clan. So yeah. Generally, relations getting more and more important. Like the lore bonus that I didn't even knew about. I don't know, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or something, is generally strong. So having that relation bonus is already pretty helpful. And trading, of course, if you reach the threshold, I think over 70% or 60%, not 100% sure, where your trading gets a lot better, it seems absolutely broken, man. As soon as you reach that point, trading is so insane. And yeah, problem generally just is that it's not as easy to get there, so you oftentimes will be just losing the game in a team game before your relationship is even good enough. You are already dead. But I feel like now with these changes here, it could definitely be possible, for example, for your goat to feast a lot, and then you have relatively good relations with them, and then you just start trading with them. Maybe have a scout on their town hall for not all too long. If you have it there permanently, you're gonna lose a lot of tempo, of course, but yeah, just have a relatively good way to end up at a relation where this trading bonus could actually kick in. We'll see. Yeah, we also have some clan-specific balancing, quite a little bit. No, it's not that crazy much, but actually a few interesting changes, especially for the horse clan right here. Problem for the horse was that the spawns were very inconsistent. I cannot 100% underwrite that the horse clan can easily snowball and become unstoppable if the war chiefs are too easy to get. I'm not 100% behind this because I'm just gonna say Kraken clan, I'm just gonna say Lion clan, I'm just gonna say Stoat clan, I'm just gonna say Ox clan, I'm just gonna say like there's so many clans for which this is so much more true than for the horse clan. I know that the horse can be really strong if you get a good tempo time, right? You get a lot of eco. I still don't know if they hold any candle to one of these clans, honestly, in getting a snowball rolling and yeah, not banning stop. But what is definitely true that you have very, very weird starts on a horse clan. If you had a double ruined, you would have a relatively good game, I would say. I still don't think you would hold any candle to a lion clan in 82. Like, no shot. Like, the Faith Lion is still absolutely insane, but yeah, you would have a relatively good start. If you don't get anything, you would have a tough life, man. You would have a tough life. You would be right now one of the worst clans in Northgard, honestly. since there are so many other good options right now, it were just no real good reason to go for the horse clan if you were like a horse enjoyer or something. But if your goal were winning and winning only, probably the horse clan wasn't really the right choice for you. So they now made its spawns a little bit more consistent, let's say, because both war chiefs now only cost 100 crowns, but if you are exploring ruins or shipwreck, you will only get half of the crowns that usually the other clan will get. So if the others get 100, you will only get 50. But on top of that, if you're exploring a ruin, you get 5 stones on top of that. And if you're exploring a shipwreck, you get plus 5 iron, which especially for the horse clan seems to be pretty important. I've played it a few times already. I think it definitely achieves what they wanted to have. I still don't think that makes horse one of the top dogs again. It might get it back on the map because just having less of a gamble. Is it like, okay, I lost 100% or I got a relatively good clan, let's say. Now you're always getting a relatively good clan, but you're also not gonna get the super explosive start anymore with like a double ruin or double shipwreck. I guess a double shipwreck will still give you a quite explosive start though. That has less to do with the gold and a little bit more with the 400 wood that you're going to get. Let's see what the Raven does. I'm gonna read this through because, not 100% sure what that were anymore, to be honest. Since the previous changes of Raven, we've seen many complaints about the toxicity of the giant spam. A move consisting of building the Raven relic and constantly sending raids of just 1 mercenary plus 1 giant, thus keeping the raid cooldown at its lowest while harassing and dealing massive blows to the target clan's economy. We agree with the sentiment, and we want to make it less efficient while also allowing the targeted clans to punish the Raven by countering and fighting back against the raids. But as we have experienced doing the beta and have noticed with some negative impacts, we still want the Raven's relic and raids to be attractive and exciting to play, exciting play option. Because the thing is always, if you take away the raids from the Raven is nothing. It's not nothing, but you know what I mean, right? You can't take the raids completely away from the Raven. I know it can be really frustrating if they raid you, and it's not the nicest thing to play against the Raven and know, okay, I'm going to be raided here. But if you take the raids away from the Raven is just not fun to play anymore. So yeah, they will generally stay there, and they try to fix it by each mercenary killed during a raid increases the raid cooldown of the zone by plus 20 seconds. The Sons of Thamir, the giants basically, power depends on the number of mercenaries sent with them. So there will be quite some plebs if you only send them with 1 mercenary, which will be good. Killing a Son of Ymir sent on a raid increases the raid cooldown of the zone by 120 seconds. So if you do the old thing, just having 1 mercenary, 1 giant, you will have a 2 minute and 20 second cooldown then afterwards. Plus on top of what you get anyways already. So yeah, it will now not be as much of a spam anymore, and I guess the Ymir is a lot easier to kill. Silos now also count as a food source of food when the zone is raided. Yeah, I think that also changed for no, I'm not 100% sure. I had the boneyard effect on Eagle, I think yesterday when I played a little bit with it, and I think the silo also counted as a food source for that, but what do I know? Not even for like the boneyard, mostly for like the little loot pouches you're gonna get when you clear a tile. And there were a lot of food in there, and I felt like, okay, maybe the silo's also counting in there. That's more of a more of an idea than an actual thing that I know though. So the relic now has an additional effect. Raids now collect resources from the zone when they arrive rather when they leave, making us sure to obtain the resources of the raid even if the whole raid dies. Okay. Kind of sad. So now you shouldn't defend against them at all anymore. Now there's no reason in the world to really defend. Yeah, you get the additional cooldown, right? I don't know. Raven is tough. Raven is tough to balance, let's say that. Let's see what Ox is doing. Ox is very easy. After unlocking the city building, lore zones can be improved even if they do not contain the maximum number of buildings. Just a little bit of a quality of life change, because oftentimes you want to upgrade the tiles here, or develop the tiles rather, even before the maximum amount of buildings is on there. So you get the upkeep reduction and the production bonus, but yeah, just makes it a little easier, don't it? The last stand shaman ability of the Red Clan effect is now capped at a maximum of 300% damage increase. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, can help out quite a bit, I guess. Then we have the Bear Clan with Winter Festival. Now reduces the clan's unit food consumption during winter by 30% instead of boosting food production. Okay. Reduces the clan's unit's food production during winter. Consumption. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I thought Winter Festival were pretty strong before already, in my opinion. I don't know if I like that much more. I think it's generally helpful because less consumption is always nice, and I think it's a little bit more helpful than having the boosted food production in winter. If you had fish, the boosted food production were pretty good anyway. Yeah. It's tough. I think Winter Festival were good before. The problem is that Winter Festival is part of the Bear Clan, and the Bear Clan is really not at the strongest spot right now. They don't really have too much insane Biko bonuses. Maybe the new Winter Festival will now get it too. Thing is, it is a blessing, so you will need to not go for yachts for that. I like going for yachts with Bear. I think the Bear Clan has the chance to also clear the tiles around it and get a few minerals like that, but yeah, remains to be seen. I feel Winter Festival were pretty good before already, giving you a good bonus through the winter months. So 3 months of the year you basically had a better clan, more or less. Yeah, if that will get Bear back on the map, I think generally Bear and Horse more or less the clans that have it the hardest right now, but yeah, let's see if that actually will help the Bear. Some dwarf faction units now attack at distance. Okay. So you can't okay, I see. So you can't yeah, kite them anymore that greatly. Also, we have a few changes here, improvements. The game uses less CPU resources, I couldn't tell, and many optimizations. That is pretty neat. I'm not really working with a setup here that is yeah, basically on the brink of working, so I don't really feel it at all. If you have a setup where you think, okay, Northgard could have been a little bit laggy and such at points, yeah, should have been a little bit better right now. I actually thought Northgard was GPU based, to be honest, but what do I know? Oh my lord! Oh my lord, that's a lot of bug fixes. Let's not go through these, okay? If you're interested in seeing all these bug fixes, we're gonna go for the most special one, which is fixed some text issues. I don't know, man. There's a lot of changes here. I think they're all pretty important. I don't want to go through all of them because oftentimes they are very, very situational. We also have a few more known issues, just so you know. When the eagle, like the foraging knowledge description, doesn't mention fox burrows, but the effect does work. Yeah, for foraging you will get more fame and more resources if you close the dens with your, or the wolf dens or the fox burrows with a scout. So it will work on the fox burrow. It doesn't say in the text right now though, and some localizations are missing, which isn't too bad generally. Yeah, all in all, what do I think about the update? I think it is a good update, I would say, right? We have new neutral units. We have a few changes to a few clans, which definitely needed a few changes. So yeah, I would say it is a good update all in all. I don't know what I think about the only one tile having only one tile free at the early game right now. Don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that because I have played Northgard for such a long time already, and yeah, always worked with like 2-3 tiles. I don't think it is too massive of a change of the early game, but it is nonetheless a little bit of the change for the early game here, and yeah, might mix up the game, make it more interesting for a lot of players. Maybe also for me. Maybe I will also end up loving this change. I'm just always somebody who doesn't like having the game slowed down too much, and I feel like this is actively slowing down the game here, needing you to clear out one more tile. It is clearly doing that, but I don't know how much it will actually be prolonged by that. Maybe the game is only like prolonged by 30 seconds because then you have to clear it and everything is alright, right? So it might actually not make that much of a difference. What I'm also worried about is Wolf. Will Wolf be able to get enough gold on the maps when Foxen and Boars are around? Because on my stream we talked about that it might actually be that the Fox and Boar spawns are now taking away Draugr spawns from the map, ending up with less Draugrs on the map. Therefore you have more food but less gold, but therefore you have more food and you can colonize closer to your opponents, what you need to do right now, because yeah, see, there's so many changes right now. It's really hard to tell you exactly how it will be going, but yeah, isn't that what generally is pretty nice about Northgard, finding out what is good, what is not good after a new update? I think this is pretty cool. I hope that the games aren't slowed down, because I think they're slow enough as they are right now already. But yeah, let's just hope that yeah, the game will stay just as fun as before. I'm pretty sure of it, to be honest. It might just end up be a tiny bit slower, which is not the worst thing, but yeah, in my opinion, not the best direction to go for. But it could also be that I'm completely wrong, because they spawn a lot of sheeps around the map right now. Sheeps give you a better bonus right now, so these might actually end up speeding up the game even more. So yeah, they also take that into consideration. It might go into both directions right now. I have the feeling that the game will be slowed down, but in the end it could actually be the complete opposite, and the games actually go a little bit faster because of the amount of sheeps that are going around the map right now. So yeah, I think this video has been going on for long enough. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the new update in Northgard. Yeah, feel free to just jump in and try it out for yourself. It is free for everyone, and yeah, just gotta download the update and you can jump in right now. Thanks everybody for dropping in. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. If you're interested in more Northgard content, you can check out around this channel. Yeah, for a while. And yeah, bye bye everyone. Thanks for dropping in, and maybe see you in another time. Bye bye. See ya.